All right, let's dive in. Today we're taking a close look at Herring Bank,
Yeah.
specifically their mortgage services.
Okay.
We've got all these web pages right from Herring Bank's site, and we're going to break it down.
Cool.
We're going to try to equip you with everything you need to know about their mortgage
I
offerings.
know, good.
So to get started, I noticed one thing right away.
What's that?
They really emphasize this community focus, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, they really seem to want to present themselves as a community-focused institution.
Yeah.
You can tell they care about their customers.
Like it's not just a, faceless corporation.
Right.
It's people helping people. And they really emphasize their local presence
They do?
and their long history, which, by the way, is over a century. They've been around for over 100 years.
That's a long time. A lot of experience there.
Yeah. And they've got all these testimonials.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they got one from, let's see, William A., who said he was turned down by other banks
Oh, really?
because of his limited credit history.
Yeah.
But Herring Bank was willing to work with him.
That's cool.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, that just shows you that they're willing to, they take that personalized approach, right?
Definitely. It seems like a big part of their identity. And I think that's a smart move on their part. Getting a mortgage can be super stressful, especially if it's your first time.
Absolutely.
So if they can make people feel supported, I think it gives them a real edge.
Makes sense. They also do a really good job of laying out the mortgage process,
Right.
step by step on their website.
Oh, cool.
So they're very transparent about what you can expect.
Yeah, what kind of stuff do they tell you about?
Well, for example, they list the documents that you'll generally need
Right.
for a home loan application.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, your tax returns, pay stubs,
Yeah.
bank statements,
Yeah,
your credit history, all that stuff.
sure.
And of course, they do say that the specific requirements might vary. But it's still nice, I think, that they give you that upfront guidance so you know what to expect.
Yeah, it takes away some of the mystery, right? Could definitely make it less intimidating for a first-time buyer.
Right. And it can be really intimidating.
There can.
Oh. And speaking of feeling at ease,
Yeah.
they have another testimonial.
Oh, yeah.
This one's from Graham J. And he just raves about how smooth his closing experience was with Herring Bank.
So they make it, easy to work with.
Yeah. They want the whole thing to be as seamless as possible.
I can see why people like that. Nobody wants a ton of stress when they're buying a house.
Absolutely.
All right, so what about the nitty-gritty, interest rates? What are we looking at there?
Well, they actually post their rates right there on the website.
No kidding.
Yeah, for a whole bunch of different loan types.
Okay, like what?
Well, let's see. 30-year fixed conventional, 15-year fixed conventional.
Okay, pretty standard.
Uh-huh. FHA loans,
Yeah.
VA loans.
Got it. So they cover the main ones then, the ones people are looking for.
Yeah, they've pretty much got you covered.
And just as a reminder for anyone listening who might not know, those FHA and VA loans, those are the ones backed by the government.
Exactly.
And those can really help, especially first-time buyers or veterans to get into a house.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, and I see here that they have online calculators too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. For mortgages and refinancing.
That's pretty cool. You can play around with the numbers and see what works for you.
Yeah. See how different rates impact your finances. It's really helpful.
Absolutely. It makes it a lot more real.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of just passively reading about rates,
Yeah,
you can actually see how it would play out for your specific situation.
exactly. All right, so let's talk about first-time home buyers.
Right.
Because I know we have a lot of those listening.
Yeah,
Herring Bank has this, it's like a whole guide
it is.
for first-time home buyers. It's really detailed.
It's amazing. Like a treasure trove of information. They've broken it down into 3 chapters to make it really digestible.
Cool. What are the chapters?
So chapter 1 is called Before You Start Looking.
Okay, makes sense.
And they cover everything in that chapter, preparing financially, understanding the home buying process, finding a realtor, all that good stuff.
Nice. So they set you up for success right from the beginning.
Yeah, for sure.
What about chapter 2?
Chapter 2. Okay, so that one is called From Shopping to Closing.
So the actual buying part.
Yes. So they go into everything from making an offer, crafting a buyer's offer letter, what to say, what not to say.
Okay.
Preparing for closing day, what to expect, what you'll need.
Yeah, that can be really overwhelming if you don't know what's coming.
For sure.
So what's the last chapter?
Last chapter is what you need to know about mortgages.
Sounds important.
It is. They talk about pre-approval versus pre-qualification.
Yeah, a lot of people get those confused.
I know. Yeah. So they break that down. They talk about how your credit score impacts your loan options
Yeah, that's a big one.
and how to choose the right mortgage for your situation.
Wow. So they really do cover a lot. It sounds really thorough.
It is. And what's even cooler, they don't just stop at the basics.
Really?
No, they go into all sorts of different loan options,
Okay, like what?
like VA loans, USDA loans, jumbo loans, refinancing,
Okay, so they've got options for pretty much anyone then.
pretty much.
Wow.
And they're not just some tiny little local bank either.
Oh, yeah. What do you mean?
Well, their reach is huge.
Oh, wow. Like
Yeah.
geographically.
Yeah, they cover a ton of Texas, like from Amarillo to El Paso, down to the Rio
Wow.
Grande Valley.
That's a lot of ground.
I know. And they do Oklahoma too,
Okay, like where in Oklahoma?
like Oklahoma City,
Yeah.
Tulsa, Norman, all over the place.
It sounds like they're trying to, really be a resource for a lot of different people.
Exactly. And they even have stuff on refinancing.
They do.
Yeah,
Mm.
with articles about refinancing in Texas, getting a VA loan.
So they're a one-stop shop for mortgages, basically.
Basically, they want to help you with everything.
That's interesting. So I'm curious, would you be willing to pay a bit more in interest if it meant having all that support and guidance?
That's a good question. I think it really depends on what's important to you as a borrower.
Yeah,
Right? Like, some people just want the lowest rate possible,
right.
and they don't care as much about the hand-holding.
Makes sense.
But other people, they might value that personalized touch, that feeling that someone's got their back,
Yeah,
and they might be willing to pay a little bit more for that peace of mind.
I can see that. So no easy answer. It's all about figuring out your priorities.
Exactly. But it's something to think about.
For sure. It's interesting. We've been talking about these mortgage services, but it's not just about homes, right?
Right.
Like they do a lot more than just help people buy houses.
Yeah, that's true. I was so focused on the whole mortgage thing, I almost forgot about their other stuff, like business banking.
Oh, yeah, they do that too.
They've got everything. Business checking, savings, credit cards, even like commercial loans.
It's like they want to be your one-stop shop for all your financial needs.
Totally. And it's not just like the basic stuff either. They even have those, payroll solutions
Yeah.
and merchant services for
Well,
businesses.
That's really helpful for business owners, especially the ones who are just getting started.
Yeah, it can be a lot to handle.
It can. So they're taking care of all the behind-the-scenes stuff so the business owner can focus on, actually running their business.
Right. Oh, but hold on. I'm seeing something here about cannabis banking.
Really?
Yeah. That's pretty unique, don't you think?
It is, especially for a bank that's been around for so long. It shows they're willing to kind of adapt
Yeah.
to new markets, to new industries. Like the cannabis industry, it's still, a little bit controversial. Not every bank is on board with that.
Yeah. So it definitely makes them stand out.
For sure. And this willingness to adapt, I think you see it in other areas too, like their wealth management services.
Oh, right. They do that too.
Yeah.
So it's not just about everyday banking. It's about, planning for the future,
Yeah.
making sure you're financially secure.
Exactly. And they really emphasize that personalized approach.
Yeah.
They work with all sorts of clients, business owners, executives, farmers, professionals, retirees.
So no matter who you are, they're saying they can help.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's all about, figuring out your specific situation and creating a plan that works for you, whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting out.
It's all about, meeting people where they are
Right.
and empowering them to take control of their finances.
Oh, and speaking of empowering people, I noticed something about college students.
Oh, yeah. They have a whole section on campus solutions.
They do.
I thought that was really cool. They offer all these student-friendly banking options.
Hmm.
They have campus support services. They even give advice on how to manage your money responsibly, which, let's face it, is something a lot of college students could use help with.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's like they're trying to, set them up for success.
They are. They're teaching them good financial habits early on, which is
Mhm.
really important. I mean, think about it. It's good for the student,
Right.
but it's also good for the community as a whole.
Absolutely. So it's like a win-win.
Okay, so big picture, right? What we're seeing here is that Herring Bank is more than just your typical bank.
Yeah.
It's like they want to be a true partner, not just with individuals, but with businesses
Yeah.
and even like whole communities.
And it makes you wonder, right? One thing that really stands out to me about Herring Bank is their commitment to transparency.
Yeah, I see that too. It's like everywhere you look on their site, it's refreshing.
It is. Like, they don't try to hide anything. They're very upfront about, their services, their rates, their history, their values.
And they explain things in a way that's easy to understand.
Right. It's not all, banker jargon.
Exactly. And I think that's really important because, let's face it, banking can be pretty confusing,
Right.
especially mortgages.
It can be. So it's nice to see a bank that's, making an effort to be clear and straightforward.
Mm.
And that transparency goes beyond just their products and services.
What do you mean?
Well, they're also very open about their commitment to community. They're focused on building relationships, the things that are important to them, the values that drive their decisions.
And that makes a difference, especially in an industry that sometimes has a reputation for being, well, a little shady.
Yeah, definitely. So by being so open and honest, I think Herring Bank is really building trust with their customers and potential customers.
Absolutely. In a world where everyone's, skeptical of everything, transparency is huge.
It's a big deal. It shows you're not trying to pull a fast one.
Right. And speaking of reaching a wide range of customers,
Yeah.
they have a lot of locations, don't they, for their home loans? They do. I was looking at that earlier, both in Texas and Oklahoma.
It's pretty impressive.
It is. It shows they have a real commitment to those regions. And they're not just focusing on the big cities either.
Yeah. They've got branches in all sorts of towns and rural areas.
Which means they probably have loan officers who really know those communities.
Right. Which can be super helpful.
Especially if you're a first-time buyer. Or if you have a more complicated financial situation.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to have someone who, understands the local market.
Absolutely. But so, bottom line, if you're in Texas or Oklahoma and you're thinking about buying a house, Herring Bank is worth checking out.
Definitely. But, as always, we encourage everyone to do their own research.
Right?
Compare rates and terms from different lenders. Make sure you're getting the best deal.
It's a big decision, buying a house. So you want to make sure you're comfortable with the lender you choose.
Exactly. That's what we're all about here, right?
What's that?
Empowering you to make informed decisions.
Absolutely.
Giving you the knowledge you need to navigate the world of, finances.
And hopefully making it a little less intimidating along the way.
Hopefully. Yeah. So we've covered a lot today. We talked about Herring Bank's community focus, their commitment to transparency, their range of services.
There's a lot to take in.
It is. But if you want to learn more, we encourage you to check out their website.
Yeah, explore. Dig into the details. See what resonates with you.
And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to Herring Bank directly. They seem like they'd be happy to help.
Until next time, happy learning. And may your financial journey be smooth sailing.
Smooth sailing.